iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racing enthusiasts all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. The car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and racing teams. Our skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly racing series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 200,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams, race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Participate in solo races, championship seasons, and hosted in league events with AI Racing. With a rapidly expanding catalog of 70-plus cars and 85-plus tracks from real-world racing series, test your abilities with challenging computer-based competition. Additional partners include IMSA, the World of Outlaws, and Supercars, allowing members to participate in their very own Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, Sebring 12-Hour, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Hello and welcome. It's that time of the week here again. It's XSLR rolls into town, and well, this week, somewhere new, somewhere I've never been personally, and somewhere this championship has yet to go to. It is the notorious North Wilkesboro Speedway. Although Wilkesboro slightly spelt incorrectly, but we'll get into that in a little bit. I'm Tim Cox. Jay Falufa joins me now, and you can see, qualified just about getting underway here, Jake. Welcome along. I mean, somewhere a bit different and somewhere exciting and new to go to.
Yeah, hello once again, Tim, and yeah, this is definitely going to be another interesting track. Last week we had the Tri-Oval. Now we have just a kind of classic variation of a short track here, it looks like.
So, drivers, not many laps to squeeze in, only a couple, and we'll get to find out who's going to take pole position. Right now, with skimming the wall, that's not going to help. So that is DiPiero done with his opening session. As Kevin Irwin lies in second, he's done with his qualifying 2-on-2 laps as Thompson just slaps it on pole there. No messing from him whatsoever. You see just how jittery these cars are, these classic NASCARs.
Oh yeah, these are very rough on the handling. Another thing I think we noted last week is that I think usually the first lap for these cars are the quickest in quali, so I think this might be the established order here, unless we have any upsets coming through. So we take a look at Bobby Ross.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? So yet Jake Gaham just heading out on his outlap right now. Jimmy Howard leaving it late as always, and I think it's just time, that time of the evening. Crack open a cold one and get things done here, because that's how we roll. Bobby Ross, interestingly, you're saying, about going fastest in the first lap, second for him on the front row with Thompson. Well, short lap here.
Look here, I think that was his first lap, if I'm not wrong. It looks like he's on his second with an improvement in the first sector, but nothing in the second.
No, and in fact, your hypothesis there, Jake, absolutely smack on. He goes slower, but only by 300ths of a second. A very, very short track this.
Oh, Jake Ham.
Oh, hello. Where's that come from?
With 88 hundredths to Adam, so that is a flyer right there.
I mean, it is a fast and furious circuit, this one, isn't it? There's no stretch of the imagination. A short circuit oval, short track oval to give it by its proper name. And there you go. Wow, look at that. Improves on his second as well to go even faster. A tenth and a half nearly clear of the field is the ham sandwich.
Yeah, that's massive for a track this small, an oval especially. So that's I know last week we were talking about his experience with ovals, and I think that's just kind of showing true.
5/8 of a mile. 1 kilometre exactly this track.
Like many people who would be racing this track, I couldn't speak to what that is.
What, in terms of distance? Well,
I don't even know what is a kilometer. Is it a unit of measurement? Is it a fancy sweater that British people wear? I'm not sure. But...
Well, I can give you one thing for certain, Jake. It doesn't provide as much freedom as the imperial system.
Ain't that the truth?
That's for real. Jimmy Howard yet to head out, and he's leaving it late in qualifying if he wants to do so, with only seconds left on the clock. But it is only a 20-second lap here when all's said and done. So he does. I mean, this is crazy as we head into the last 30 seconds. I mean, actually no, that's it. He can't get out and around and start his lap in time. So done and dusted. He's not gonna set a time. Gonna come from the back. I mean, sometimes apparently it's quite good when you come from the rear, Jake. Have you experienced that?
Many a times. Very popular, I would say. But not the easiest maneuver to pull, especially with such a tight track. So we'll have to see how that goes. I know Jimmy is one to go on the inside, as we saw last week. So that might help him come from the rear.
It may well do. Well, checkered flag out in qualifying. So we are done and dusted. We just head across into the race right now, and then we can take you through your grid. And here is how the running riders line up. Jake Ham on pole, first time this season, and a dominant display at this short track from him. Thompson joins him on the front row. Ross and Joey DiPiero, who, interesting fact for you, Jake, he's the only driver not running the Chevrolet here today. He's a Ford kind of guy. He's not GM, he's Ford.
Well, we'll have to see how that plays out there. Well, I know that's a huge rivalry, so at least we have one supporter from the other camp. So.
I mean, maybe this is an omen, because he's starting fourth. He's driving a Ford. The first 3 letters are exactly the same, both words. Is that some sort of omen, do you think?
Is there a triangle anywhere in there? Or,
well, it's all part of the Venn danger diagram that could see DiPiero dominate. I'm trying to find as many D's as I could there. I mean, everyone loves plenty of D.
We'll have to see if that plays out. I mean, last time we had the omen with Talladega and Bobby Ross. You know, I said early on that maybe he'd be the favorite just because of that. So we could see that those arbitrary signs plan out for a dub for Piero.
Well, Irwin and Sorum make up row 3, and Jimmy Howard, not setting a time, is going to start from the rear. And, well, Ham leaving it late, not joining yet to the grid.
Now, another thing, hopefully, another thing to keep in mind before these guys set off, too, is there is a $5 bounty on Adam Thompson's head for any misdemeanors committed against him during the race.
I mean, that's a lot of money. Is it worth spending $5 on him?
That's a great point. I think Adam might just collect that himself as they start behind the pace car here for their outlap.
I mean, there's lots of things you could spend $5 on, you know, and...
I mean, he is an attractive man, so we'll see about that.
Debatable. Debatable.
That is up for controversial debate.
Have you ever had a large debate, Jake?
A large debate? Many debates with Adam himself, I can tell you that.
I mean, with a lot of people involved, so it could be considered like a mass debate.
Lately on plankware for certain cars and a certain racing series people might watch that raced in the U.S. not too long ago. If that play quit really gave him an advantage, and if it was worth penalizing him.
Understandable.
Be the most recent, yeah.
Great to have so many of you over in the chat. Love to know who you're supporting here today. As we get ready to go racing, no less. The pace car out on track. JW, let's go, Mike. Whoop, whoop. Yep, damn right. Well, let's get ready to go racing, folks, as we are green and we are racing here in North Wilkesboro. And already Ham. Oh, bit of a twitch there. Thompson into the wall early on. That is not going to help his chances.
Literally trying to collect the $5 for himself there.
Trying to pick up it early as seeing different lines going on down in the rear of the pack. You've got up on the high line, you've got Sorum and DiPiero, whereas when is he around? Is he going to get collected by Howard? No, he's not. And that could well be our first yellow of the day. No, of course he's gone onto the grass, so that's not triggered the yellow.
Yeah, and great evasive action there from Howard. That's really some experience going on there to know to really slow down, get out of the way.
I think that's the sight of a man who's been taken out many a time. And, well, lift to tell the tale this time, but that's rather sort of sorted the pack out. And Erwin, well, he's well down, in fact, viewers.
Yeah, that 7th, 10th lead is no joke. That's going to be, I was going to say right at the tail end of the slipstream, but we already see Ross slingshotting that slipstream up towards him. So we'll see if he can really hang on there. I think that would bring the rest of the pack right up towards him.
Well, you can see from the track map there just how far behind Erwin is. I mean, he's practically the length of turns, what, 1 and 2? Just behind. Well, so in front of.
Yeah, he's really going to be hoping on a yellow right now, I think. It's really what he's going to need to bring himself back into this, even so early on.
This is a surprising thing, isn't it, realistically, when you stop and look at it here. Because, you know, heading onto the grass, that does not trigger the yellow in iRacing, which is what Erwin would have hoped for. But he did not experience, he didn't get it. There's a DiPiero there, just trying to make a move on Thompson, and a bit of a look up the inside here in these early stages.
Yeah, from your experience, do you think that's it would be even worth it trying to get past him right now? Or do they want to work together here to try and really get back onto the rear end of Ross and him?
Can you really work together? That's the big question. As meanwhile, in the background there, yeah, that's Jimmy Howard getting past Sorum. I feel that maybe DiPiero can see that Thompson is falling by the wayside here. He's not keeping up with the powerhouse momentum that is Ham and Ross, and now they are pulling away. And I mean, DiPiero clearly feeling, as I think I would at this stage, right, need to get the move early on, you know, just get rid of the deadwood out of this situation and get ahead and get after these lead two. As I'm just watching them time and time, top left corner of our screen right now, those gaps being shown. And well, it's grown to 1.5. It's an extra tenth more, and I get the feeling it's probably going to head more towards 1.6 seconds before. Well, it's not too long, but there you go. In fact, it's nearly up at 1.7. He is struggling, and maybe this that's happened Will early on. Is what's hurting him.
Yeah, I think it was in Adam's position here. I would maybe at some point let Piero by and see if I can use him to try and catch the lead pack, because he definitely looks dead in the water right now. Almost 2 seconds to Ross in second place.
It's right on board with Thompson. You visually see the gap here. Let's have a little listen in and see how he's getting on, and maybe try and pick up places that he's losing this time in this early stages. I don't know about you, Jake, but that sounds like a man who is not confident in his throttle application right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that early brush to the wall could really shake up his confidence going to the rest of this race. I mean, think of mentally, right? The frustration, and tentativeness that might induce.
It's definitely not helping the situation. The fact that gap out to nearly 2.2 seconds already. DPR are looking strong, and well, I mean, maybe we've got a lot of laps to cover here today. I mean, 130. They are only, as we mentioned, it's 5/8 of a mile here at North Wilkesboro. 20-second laps. 21, let's call it, to be on the safer side, as pace starts to slow up. We haven't even gotten to talking about the tyres yet. We'll come to those shortly. But do you think maybe fuel conservation? You've got plenty on. It's not like Talladega last week at the season opener where your foot is flat to the floor for 99.9% of the lap. Here, it's all about throttle management. But if that, in turn, allows you maybe to do a bit of fuel saving. Okay, you don't have the draft, which allows you to fuel save last week, but there's a lot of throttle application going in there. Whereas this week, you can lift and coast in some of these corners, which is going to help offset fuel conservation, more miles to the gallon, but also I think it's going to aid, help those tyres too.
Yeah, I think we might be seeing a little bit of that already. I don't know if you've seen the delta between him and Ross, but it's increasing by a large amount, already 2.8 seconds as I'm talking right now and going up. Do we think Ross is saving a little bit here, or is Ham just that quick?
Well, that is an excellent question, isn't it? We need to hypothesize over, because let's have a look at the gaps between those two right now. There is Ham, and you see how those gaps have progressively grown. Ham seems to be just at one with man and machine right now. Having said that, Thompson is starting to catch up onto the rear end of Ross. That gap's shrinking down to about half a second now, and I mean, maybe a little bit of time for change here. I mean, DPR looked like the aggressor early on, seeing half a second behind Thompson. Thompson's got his act together. It feels like he's got into his rhythm, into his groove, and he's demolished that gap, but Ham walking away with this. But Ham is coming up on a bit of traffic, and around here, that's treacherous. It's hard to deal with.
Yeah, that might play into the battle between first and second here, Ham and Ross. I do want to point out how stable that Ross's car has looked through here. I do think he has to be saving some resources for later, as we see Adam get real close to his rear bumper there. I don't know, just look at Adam's car coming through that turn. His rear end's stepping out a little bit. I think Ross has to be conserving something, or that's just the damage we're seeing early on from brushing the wall from Thompson there.
Ross, I mean, just comparing lines now, Ross isn't going all the way down to the bottom. Well, he is, but it's very late in the corner. It's like going for a bit of a late apex. It's really open in those corners. Get this car in a straight line and then get the throttle down. That's going to surely aid his tyre wear, by not being as aggressive with it. But here we go, the move on from Thompson. He goes down low, bit of contact between himself and Ross, but he squeezes that 244 machine through on the inside, but it's not done yet as they bang towards yet again. Challenging stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he's finally got it done. Well, I say that. He drifts up high, and that allows Ross just to come straight back at him. You see the crowds, they're all on their feet here at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, definitely not what Ross would like to see. I think he is trying to be on management strategy here, and that fight is not what he'd be looking for. Increasing that gap even further by 7 to 8 tenths to him, so we'll have to see if Ross can use Thompson as kind of a way back in to close that gap down as Ham sees more traffic.
Next up, so he has cleared Irwin. Next up on radar for him is going to be Sora, who is, not too far up the road. Let's see if we can, there we go, and cut across to him. So probably about 3/4 of the length of the back straight away in ahead of him, and someone else who's looking a bit gingerly with the car right now. Interesting stuff in these early stages. course, we haven't factored in the finish. And today we were at that, well, what is now a famous track in NASCAR. After a certain incident that happened last year, no less. Can you believe that was 1 year ago? Where has the time gone?
No, it's definitely flown. Speaking of flying as well, Ham almost 6 seconds now ahead of P2.
He's not hanging around whatsoever, is he? Not hanging around. I mean, that's got to be large to these two, scrapping away. You know, when they were side by side for so much, that just allowed Ham to walk away there. And we'll see it here, how that gap's grown. Yeah, largely coming in the last couple of laps where these two have been side by side, although Jake just held up by a little bit of traffic as he cleared through past Sorum. So that's going to, you know, just hampered his progress. But let's not forget, Thompson and Ross have got to come through Sorum too.
Yeah, I think everyone but Ham right now has to be praying for a yellow flag here because he is really walking away with it right now.
But then you have to ask the question, you know, where he's clearly pushing hard. What's that doing to these tyres? We know how leery these things can be, even with a fresh set of tyres on, let alone used rubber.
Oh, absolutely. If Ham is pushing hard right now, then he is going to be very slow to the latter stages of his stint and going through one set of tires immediately. So, we'll really have to see how well he's managing that.
But on those tyres, Jake, do you think you should go for 4 and stop, or just go for 2? Go for right side?
I think right side is most worth it. You're cutting down your stop time, I would imagine, in these cars, and that's really what you're pushing and using up the most of. I could imagine you can use those inner tires for 2 sets at least.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Again, it's not a lot of wear realistically going on them. It's all the heat and the pressure is built up and generated on that right side where you're really, really leaning on them. It's going to be interesting to see how. I mean, Ham, realistically, has nothing to lose from this situation. He's going to go for 4 to go for all 4. Such is the lead that he has already. Although I am seeing, yes, I am. That is Irwin off onto the back of Sorum. Now, these two were apart, although a nice easy pass in the end as Sorum goes up high and then swoops back down. Looking for the switchback here. He's not going to be able to pull it off and just fall in behind. Now, this poses extra danger. Helps Ham no end because Ross and Thompson have got to clear these two together. Most likely, or they're saying that Sorum just falling behind a little bit, running it up high to allow these two through, but they're not going to compromise on the exit, definitely. So, gap is 7.2 seconds right now between, was that Sorum into the wall there? Yeah, between Thompson and Ham. We could actually break up this Thompson-Russ battle.
Yeah, that might be the break that Thompson needs here to start stretching away from any kind of slipstream that they get at this track. So, it seemed like a little bit of a lockup, I believe, that caused that.
I thought I saw that too. It's just seeing in the background there, Ross trying to dispatch a Sorum, going to get it done, although that gap where it's been like around about the half-second mark it's expanded out to 1.5 seconds, so it's also pulling about a good second on Ross at this stage of the race, lap 40 out of 130. But what did I say that gap was? About 7.2 seconds between Thompson and Ham before we started off this monologue. Well, it's now out to 8.2 seconds, so Ham has managed to pull a full second on these guys.
Yeah, again, I think these short tracks really display the experience gap here. We'll have to see if that's all experience or all tires he's using up here, but I've seen no sign of him slowing down on these laps. So you have to imagine he's just that quick.
Let's have a little bit of look in terms of lap time for Ham right now. There we go, as we see. 21.2, 21, 21.1, 21.1, 21.1. I mean, that's consistency for you, isn't it? If there ever was any. Whereas,
No, absolutely.
I mean,
Oh,
what have you
big
seen?
incident we see here. That's going to be a yellow. That is Ham right into the back of.
No, it's not Ham
Was that
because he's clear at the front. He's by himself.
Sorry, Irwin and Howitt there. I think it was
Oh.
Howitt into the back of Irwin or vice versa there. I don't know if we can get a replay going, take a better look at that.
You asked. Let's see. Oh, too much speed. And Howard rear-ended. Did Thompson collect him? Yes, he did. He collected the spinning Irwin. Well, that's going to shake things up a little. It's not quite
Yeah, as
shake
we
and bake, but it's shake and mix things up.
Oh, someone's always baking with Howitt on the field. So we'll see as we have this first on-track yellow period here.
Like we did. So Ham's elected to head to pit road. Thompson in 2. What does Howard do? So he carries on, and so does Sorum. Interesting. Not what I was expecting from Howard. Ross and Di Piero head down to pit road as well.
So that crash is really going to shake up the race as we know it. That is Ham's 8-second gap just bitten down immediately.
Oh, that's not good.
So,
Look at the way that Thompson is flickering there. I don't know if you're seeing that your end. That is not good for his connection state. I mean, if he ends up getting moving out the session due to a drop in packet loss. Ooh. But he has got a jump on everyone. Nearly. Actually, no, nearly. Apologies. Ham has come out into the lead. Sorum heads to pit road. Howard into. So's Erwin. So he's going for these. So he's going for 4 tyres. So is Howard. What's Sorum going to do? Oh, let's look. Oh, there you go. Up on the right. So he's going for at least right side is Sorum. Let's check in. Is that left going to go up in the air? There we go. So he's going for 4 as well. So clearly 4 is the way to go here. Or at least that's what our drivers think.
Well, I think at least on the yellow here, there's not too much of a con in taking all 4, right? So...
No, you're not going to lose too much. It's going to bunch the pack up again, though, which is encouraging to see. Although, from looking at this, there are a few drivers who are a lap down.
We'll see here, we know that.
Because this is showing my end. Ham is in the lead. But I'm not sure whether it just needs to sort itself out because Di Piero on the road, there he is in front. So, when you come across the line, it may well sort itself out a little bit. Oh, a few gremlins. Though he's getting the wave around, so. Okay.
There you go. I'm sure, yeah, we'll have all the drivers who are lapped make their way around the track very shortly.
But it depends who gets the lucky dog. Because we've got, right now, yeah, Howard, Sorum and Owen all 1 lap down in the back of the field. Meaning that Ham, Thompson, Ross and Di Piero are the only 4 left on the lead lap. As pace cars in, let's get ready to go racing. What's get from North Wilkesboro? As we are green, we are away. Did Di Piero get up onto the back of the pack? No, he didn't. Oh, and Ham around the tag from Thompson. That sends him round 2. Are we surely going to go yellow yet again? Yes, we are. Now, that plays right into the hands of Di Piero. He didn't catch up with the pack. But also, Howard, Sorum and Owen, because one of them will get the lucky dog and will get the wave around. Although, because they're ahead come the incident, they may well find themselves back on the lead lap anyway.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. That incident really shook things up there. I think we were pretty status quo going into that next yellow. Very similar order to when we entered it, but now things have been shooken up here as Thompson collects Ham right off the pace car.
Let's have a look at the replay. There you go. He's just tagging him. He's got into his rear end. Well, let's see if we can get it from a different angle. So here's the on board with Thompson. So we go green. all good down in turn 1. Let's slow it down a little bit. Getting nice and slow. Like a brisket. And he goes low. Does Ham just leave the door open a little bit? Or is there a bit of contact? No, it's all good. Oh, there you go. You got a little bit loose, and then the tag from Thompson is then what sort of sent. Well, no sorts of. That's what sent Ham spinning, and then the front end of his car flicks around, which then tags the rear end of Thompson and sends him into a pirouette too.
But a clean pirouette that was. No damage besides maybe the front end of Thompson. It's looking clean right now. But they both managed to keep themselves away from both walls, so definitely some impressive saves from both drivers.
Wow. Howard back on the lead lap. Sorum and Erwin still 1 lap down. Lights still on the pace car, meaning that that's... we're not going to be going green next time around. We need to wait for those lights to go out for that to happen. So the driver's still in single file, so a bit of an indication. So Howard is at the back of the pack. Does have Sorum ahead of him and Erwin. Erwin is 2 laps down, Sorum 1 lap down. Although, as we've seen so far, you know, cautions, precautions. There's still a lot of racing to go. We're not even half race distance, although amazingly, actually, we aren't too far away from it. Just putting into the chat now. Predictions for how many yellow flags today? Let me know your thoughts on that one. Always good to hear from you, although actually it's not signing they won't let me press enter, so that's always handy. But we're green, we're away racing once again. So just getting into the back of Erwin there, interestingly. I mean, his progress just seems to be really, really hampered right now as he tries to find a way past Sorum and Erwin, who are embroiled in their own battle by themselves here at this stage of the race. So we continue pushing here. Oh, I think I saw him around. It tags the wall. Is that going to call another yellow? No, it's not. Just slow away. Meanwhile, out up front, Ross under a lot of pressure right now from Ham. Ham swoops down low. Ross on that high side is going to get the better drive coming off the corner, though. Thompson looking to capitalise right behind them. We're right on board with him right now. Oh, he senses an opportunity with Ross being up high. He's still trying to find a way past. Can't seem to get it done. A bit of jockeying for position, but this could be the move on here, Jake.
You'll see if Bobby can cover it off for this next corner. I think he's really committing hard to that outside line now that he can't find a way back in. Adam just trying to keep that door closed on the inside. And we see a yellow come out here.
I saw him around. Sure, let's find out how that all happened. So got a little loose coming off of 2. No, sorry, that'd be off of 4, apologies, I think. So he heads around just, well, you see the rear already going. Tokyo drifts S. No, I was correct. Initially it was 2. And around he goes. That's, ooh. Well, that's surprising. Thompson to pit road.
Yeah, I'd imagine. We'll see if he takes a fresh set of tires or if he just goes for fuel here.
It's Sort of pulls up into his box. Yeah, going for right. I mean, you've got 3 sets of tyres available to you. Well,
Yep.
technically 4 if you include the ones that you start on. So this will be set number 3. He's got 1 more set left available to him. We're a half race distance. Not.
Oh, and that calls in Bobby.
Oh, trying
Having to kind of react to that.
Yeah, trying to cover him off here.
I mean, if you think here, 30 laps a tire, roughly, brings you close to the end. So, I think it might make sense. He is putting himself into a disadvantage if there are a lot more safety cars giving people the opportunity to pit onto those new tires. We'll have to see how that plays out for him. I think this also is a track where you do lose a bit more time starting from the back and having to work your way up. I think it's a little bit less like Talladega last week.
Well, we've seen tonight so far just how challenging it is to pass around this circuit. We saw it earlier with Howard, who's amazingly now up to 3rd after all of that. So
yeah, definitely a great race from him. I don't know, from your position though, with how dominant Ham has been in his pace, do you want to take that tire set and risk losing him in that 8-second gap all over again?
Well, not the last year, but the previous one, which came no more than 10 laps ago. That's when he changed the tires. So let's have a little look back. That was on lap 47. We're on 64. So I think about 47, 49, somewhere around there. So I think Cam should be okay if he's managed to make. He's probably thinking, right, okay, I managed to make the tires last that long. If I do the same again, those two are going to fall to the back. They're going to be out of my hair. They're not going to be pressing me. I know my pace is stronger than DiPiero and Howard's. I don't need to cover them off. Lights off on the pace car, so that's going to be in this time around. It's tricky. It's definitely going to keep us guessing here, although a bit of a shuffle around, whereas Howard was forced to the back of the pack. This time, Ross and Thompson have managed to make their way past as we are green and racing once again with Bayview, Shade and Blind here in XSLR. You see DiPiero squeezed up high and Thompson just seeing that opportunity, sensing it and sending it down the inside. And he's going to do the same again to Howard, and Howard's going to get hung out to dry if he's not careful. Didn't need to be careful, did he? Yeah, it's already done. He's got hung out to dry. He's dropped down to 30. Still up 4 places, having started at the back. The only driver actually to gain any places so far tonight.
And that is the number 69 car on the grass right now.
Oh, that's Sorum again, isn't it?
Yep, just more problems for Sorum tonight, unfortunately. It's going to bring out another yellow flag here.
Let's see exactly how it's planned out.
So Thomas is a huge gainer off of this. Thompson. Apologies.
So, oh, just lost the rear all by himself. Trying to get the power on down. Does anyone head into the pit? Well, Sorum does.
Thomas is a huge benefactor in all of this. He was one of the only people who stopped for a new set, and he's all the way back up to P2 on a fresh set of rubber here, right behind J Cam. So we'll see if he'll be able to make those work.
That's Erwin getting the lucky dog. So that's going to bring him back onto the lead lap, having been 2 laps down, Jake. All of a sudden, he's now back in the fight. All these yellows have played to his advantage, and this group at the front of Hound Thompson, certainly Ross and DiPiero, how has they been brought out into that, having got the first lucky dog? So the second lucky dog, even, apologies. So, yeah, I mean, it's not helpful. Let's not forget, J Cam had, 7, 8 second lead, was it? Before the first yellow?
Yeah, just above 8 seconds, I think, like 8.1. And he's really got to be mad about all these yellows coming out, because I think, if everything goes to his plan how it did before, he would be walking away with it right now. So I think these yellows are really putting everyone, equalizing the field. I mean, look at Adam Thompson right now. Stop for rubber, back of the pack, all the way back up to P2 on a fresh set. So I think he can really start challenging here
Well, Ham's
and
on
keeping
used
him from
rubber,
breaking away.
isn't he? As you rightly pointed
Yeah.
out on the last yellow, he didn't pit. And, well, I mean, if this goes green for the rest of the race, Thompson wins it. He's got the fresher rubber. Whereas Ham will struggle. Or maybe even Thompson just elects to change rights and he still gets the jump on Ham. But equally, Ham just seems in a league of his own tonight. If he can pull out that gap over Thompson, like he did, well, over the rest of the field before our first caution in the evening, then even then, it's going to be with that new rubber and maybe not having to change tyres. It's definitely going to be a real challenge for Thompson.
Yeah, I think it'll all depend on what Jimmy Howard decides to do here. Does he challenge Adam Thompson and let Jake Ham get a free sprint away from the pack? I think if Howard and Thompson can work together to some degree, they can keep up. And I think it'll really depend on what Jimmy does here as the pace car ends and goes into T1.
Like I say, Soren has retired the car down to 6. There's Howard. Wow, look at that. Just trying to make it almost 3 wide there as we're green and we're racing once again here from North Wilkesboro. But there you go. Well, there's your answer. I'm not messing around whatsoever. Preventing, shutting down inside move from Thompson. It's movies like to have played, and look at that, just changing up his line, going for that late apex and coming out wide. And well, everyone else behind him seems to be agreeing with that tactic and following on exactly the same line, whereas I'm going much more shallower. But he was doing that before the pit stops, wasn't he? Before the cautions we had early on. Lap 75, no less. The fastest lap of the race last time around from Ham. That is a driver that is not hanging around whatsoever. Trying to bring it home here today. Grow out that lead that he had earlier on. He lost due to the cautions.
Yeah, but it looks like Jimmy's bad start has allowed Thompson to stick to Ham like glue this time around. 2.5 seconds back. Sorry, 2.5 tenths back from Jake Ham. And I don't see that increasing more than 3 tenths.
Well, he was slow off the corner look, and that's allowed Di Piero to head on through and up into 4th, the lone Ford in the field. Starting to space out once more. He's everyone. But, here comes the crucial but here, Jake. Your namesake Ham has not been able to get away from the field like he did in the first stint of the day.
Yeah, I think not being on the fresher set of rubber and not having the squabbling behind him has really allowed Adam to just stick with him. Breaking ahead even of Bobby Ross, 1.4 seconds now, the gap between them.
Ross looked good in those early stages, but for me now, this latest set of rubber doesn't look like it's his friend. Whereas Ham is being consistent yet again, laying down the lap times. Hobson is sticking with him, but how much is that newer rubber playing a part of that here? And, you know, if they were on exactly the same, you know, level of rubber like they started this race, I do have to wonder whether, you know, Ham would walk away with this one. Equally as well, you've got the NASCAR on the back of that. What is Thompson doing to those tyres to stay attacking? Actually, if he's pushing too hard, but he's got newer rubber, if he heats them up, especially that front right, certainly both right side tyres, then actually you could end up in a worse position than Ham, because to try and bring him back down to temperature, into a cool, operating window, it's going to be a real challenge for him.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's just struggling to hold on here. He hasn't really closed the gap. It's been increasing ever so slightly. Him sticking around the 2.5 tenths to 3/10 margin. Now it's increasing all the way up to half a second. I think he's pushing all out just to keep up.
And that is what worries me, Jake. That is what worries me for Thompson. And, whoa, bit of a... ran a little bit wide there. Maybe this is the break that Ham needs. Just scamper away. There you go. Pulls out another tenth on Thompson.
Yeah, that gap increasing almost up to 1 second.
Yeah.
Mind you, 3 seconds back to Bobby Ross.
And there goes another tenth for Ham. 9 tenths now. It seems to be roughly about 2 tenths a lap, doesn't it? It's only based on last time around. Well, there you go. Look, yet again. Man of the hour. Jake Ham.
On older rubber, too.
I know. And this is what I was talking about, and my worries and my concerns, Jake, was that Tom's pushing too hard. He's hitting up those rights.
Yeah, Ross is closing in now. That's almost 2 to 3 tenths, but gain from Bobby Ross over, I think, the past lap or two.
4 tenths, in fact, last time around, Jake.
So we might see a heated battle soon for second place between those two. This keeps going.
I think it's going to be a one-sided affair, surely, because look at that gap already. Nearly 2 seconds. Ham is dropping Thompson like a stone right now. Only a 10th gain last time around from Ross, but it's an improvement over what Thompson is managing. That's the key thing here.
How much does that stone weigh? Can we convert that to good old pounds here?
Well, it's 14 pounds in a stone, so I'm guessing it must be 14 pounds.
Oof, if you drop that, it'd almost drop as fast as Adam Thompson right now, 2.4 seconds. And with Bobby Ross eating up more time, dragging Piero with him. Thompson might fall right into the clutches of 3rd and 4th place in a couple laps' time.
That is the valid point, isn't it? Because DiPiero is coming along for a ride. Not quite as quick as as Ross, but still quicker than Thompson. 1.5 tenths faster last time around when you compare DiPiero versus Thompson. Should we just end it now, just declare Jake Ham win out for him, and then just let everyone else sort themselves out behind? Because I think that's the only way this is going from me whatsoever.
Well, we'll have to see. We still have almost 40 laps left to play for, and plenty of potential left for yellows. So any yellow here can get anyone back right into a battle with Ham. But I think if this does go interrupted, Ham will just walk away with it at this pace.
What is your favourite addition to a ham sandwich? Cheese? Maybe some condiments and pickles or something?
Ooh, well, I think without the condiments, anything's going to go dry, so...
You're going to want a bit of mayo on that at least, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. You have to throw mayo on most things, am I not right?
Well, it does make a lot of things better.
I know across the pond you guys like to throw a little bit of butter there. A little butty, like a ham butty.
Damn right. Maybe a bit of onion as well. Ham and onion.
Onion
that's
and ham sandwich.
It's good. Bit of Marmite maybe as well.
Obviously,
not with the onion. That is a little bit of flavour overload.
You can do a Marmite and ham sandwich?
Oh, beautiful, mate. Beautiful.
The only thing more revolting I can think of is a Vegemite and ham sandwich.
They're pretty much the same thing. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'll give Marmite, a couple points in favor over the Vegemite.
talking a couple of points, a couple more attempts taken out of Thompson by Ross right now. I do
Yeah,
know,
what was...
I do know
Oh,
someone
you go
who
ahead.
tried. One of the guys at work who he's a little bit weird when it comes to his flavour combos, but he put in his ham sandwich. He had that, and there was another ingredient, and as well as he had in there. That was it. He had fish fingers, and chocolate cream cheese.
Chocolate cream? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, like a Nutella cream cheese. It was yeah. It's disgusting. Even I just
Fish
say whisper it.
fingers.
I mean, yeah. That's just weird. I mean, yeah, just maybe the cream cheese, but without the chocolate in there. No.
Well, why don't you tell everyone about the famous British sandwich of the Cabbie Babby that you're going out on about earlier?
Cabby Bat. I'm not too sure. Refer for. I mean, there's the bread cake I was telling you about earlier, which is another word for a bread roll in Yorkshire.
So, what is a bread roll? Is that just a roll?
Yeah, just a normal roll. You could call it a bread roll. It's known as a bap.
Well, that seems quite redundant. A bread roll.
It's called a
roll.
bap in the southern part of England. A bread roll or a roll in the central parts of England.
Is that, say, a brap?
No,
Or a bap? Is there an R in there?
There's a barm, which is in the northwest of England, and then northeast it's a bread cake.
Well, all I know is that anyone from Yorkshire, if I'm correct, would say that him is on a bomb right now with almost 5 seconds to Adam Thompson.
Filthy.
Unprecedented, that pace.
There you go, there's the 5-second mark broken. But Ross is struggling.
Yeah, that was almost down to 2 seconds, that gap. He's now lost quite a bit of time there.
3.7.
Yeah, I think everyone's starting to feel that tire wear here.
Well, look at this. DiPiero having a good look and examining the rear end of Ross's car.
Oh, he slips right into that rear end. Oh, getting on the inside, very close there. I think that is job done, though, as they go across. Nope, back side by side. This will be an interesting battle for, I think, a few laps here.
2 times separating them. So Ross just shutting down the advances of DiPiero. DiPiero definitely the more confident with his tyres at this stage of the race. 105 complete. Let's head down into 1 and 2. This is where it's so tricky to pass, isn't it? Really struggling, these two right now. You know, DiPiero just can't get the... He's like the big bad wolf when it came to the little piggy's houses, you know. He's huffing and puffing. He's got to the, you know, the third pig. You know, the house is built out of bricks. He's huffing and puffing. He just can't blow that house down. It's the gap out to 5 seconds now, Jake.
Yeah, absolutely. You can huff and puff all day, but at the end of the day, it just matters how well you can blow. And blowing, he is not at the moment. Still half a tenth down on Bobby Ross.
It's all for the last place on the podium from North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, there's still all this battling is letting them slip ahead.
We've been green since what, lap 72? Yeah, lap 72. So I would have a longer green period. I think this is going to be nearly as long as the first time, you know, before we had our first caution of the night.
Yeah, well, I actually have to keep an eye on how long the pit stops take if it does stay green for any longer, because I believe everyone still will need to take a pit, and I know Adam is one person who might take an advantage from having to fuel up just a little bit less than the likes of Jake Ham.
That could really transform things, although that gap at 5.6 seconds, Jake, I mean, yes, there's, you know, less fuel required, but I just can't foresee it being as much as that. I mean, but then you could ask, you know, Thompson seems to have neutralised the gap a little bit between himself and Ham. Is it in fact? As that is Erwin up onto the back of Di Piero, but Erwin is a lap down, so trying to lap himself against Di Piero. Oh, he's around, he's around. Is this going to bring out a yellow? No, he heads onto the grass, so that means we should get away with it here. Yes, we will not go yellow. Well, I mean, as your Jake Ham, do you breathe a sigh of relief or not? I'm not sure. I mean, it's going to frustrate Di Piero because he was trying to keep up with Ross. He's trying to get the move done, and then Erwin lapping himself and then losing it. You know, it means that effectively lost all that time for nothing whatsoever. Nothing. Nada. Diddly squat. Sweet FA.
Now this might bring up a good question here, Tim, but if you're a driver here and you're going off, do you, you know, maybe give a little bit of less lock away from that wall there and just hope that you bring out the yellow? I think staying onto the grass there only hurts you with the current rule set.
Well, I mean, it's not exactly sporting, but, I mean...
But you know, drivers, I mean, we've seen how many years in a row with the Monaco Grand Prix. I think anyone driving will do anything just to try and get that advantage back. So interesting to see that it's very a sporting league when it comes to that, because I know I would be way worse off trying to bring out that yellow than these guys.
This track now, NASCAR races every year between 1949 and 1996. In fact, we had 2 per year from 1950.
Also, we do see Piero going into the pit lane right now. Oh, sorry, Howitt going into the pit lane.
So, our first green flag stop.
Now, if this does go long, this could really benefit Howitt on a massive undercut. So see, keep a close eye on that for the pit stops and see if he can make any time up there.
But he's going to fall a lap down, maybe 2, so... What's he on? He's on 114, 117 for Ham, so... He is, in fact, 3 laps down. In fact, that now brings Kevin Erwin onto the same lap as Howitt. But should we have a yellow, it does mean that one of them will get the lucky dog, so we'll put one in front of the other. But who will it be? Will it be Howitt? Will it be Erwin? So it's actually put... well, it's benefited Erwin, but it's put Howitt into a real danger zone. But clearly feeling the need that he had to stop, because he couldn't carry on any longer with those tyres.
Yeah, and also in the absence of a yellow, do any of the drivers out here have the fuel to go to the end, or is everyone going to stop again? That'll be a big question, I think, coming up.
I'm not sure on that.
Because if everyone can make it to the end, I think Howitt really loses a lot in that pit stop. If not, he might have a huge undercut on a fresh set of tires.
It's a little bit of who blinks first here, isn't it? Because Ham, you know, if he pits for new tyres, so on lap 121 here, 9 to go. Cyber data protection. That means that Thompson will just hang this one out and just crawl the car across the line if he has to. But you see the difference, can't you? You know, how all over the back end of Ham just easily walks around the outside. You know, that grip being far superior.
Yeah, the longer Ham can hold up Howitt, the worse off Howitt's going to be on undercut strategy I imagine he's on right now. So we'll see. All I know is it's costing both drivers time. See that gap start falling below that 8 seconds again.
So let's have a look graphically how that gap is. I can see really there just where Ham grew it, but it has, yeah, like you say, it has shrunk a little bit on this last lap. And how, well, he needed to get the move done early, where that fresh rubber was a real, you know, benefit to him. They are coming up to lap Cherry Di Piero, though, no less. So, I don't know. I mean, if he got the move done, he got himself on lap. Now, that would put Howard in a much stronger position if there was to be another yellow. Because at worst, if Erwin got the lucky dog, We just bring him back up onto the same lap that Howard has managed to put himself back onto, thanks to unlocking Ham, who just in the end just slots up the inside. No real issues from Di Piero, as Howard sends it past Di Piero in the Ford, lone Ford in the field. But look at that, right around the outside. Just can't seem to quite make it stick from Howard. That gap, it's weird. It's shrinking, but it's not at the same time. I can't decide if actually this is really costing Ham anything.
Yeah, this might be really beneficial for him because he's going to be every single lap just decreasing that advantage of the undercut from Howard. He might really be just securing a place here for himself. No threat from Thompson. Seemingly no threat from Howard as well. I think he's just walking away with it. Every green lap, we have, what, 2 to go?
We do. I mean, where has that time gone? And right now, Ham bringing this one home. It says bring home the bacon.
I like what you did there, but we have... it seems like Hal was the only one who had to pit. I don't know if that was for fuel, but...
I mean, he had nothing to lose realistically. You know, needed fresh tyres. Wouldn't lose any position too soon. Erwin being, 2 laps down. I think it was a bold call. But we have white flag in the air. 1 lap left to go here from Wilkesboro. It's Jake Ham to bring it home. Well, it's going to be a convincing victory here in round 2 of XSLR. 9 seconds the advantage over Thompson as the checker flag flies. We are done racing. Ham takes the victory. Thompson's going to finish in 2nd. Ross, well, he's still going, but he's going to finish 3rd because Di Piero has been lapped, so just needs to realistically just roll this one around.
Yeah, I think that's a hat trick from him there, right? We had fastest lap, pole position, and winning the race there.
If he'd led every lap, it would have been a grand chelem.
That's a made-up word.
It's not. It's not. It's a Formula 1 term.
Sounds like a cabbie babby to me.
No, it's not even a Wigan kebab.
Is that a real word?
Well, Wigan kebab is a beautiful creation of a meat pie, normally steak and ale, in a bread roll with mushy peas in said bread roll as well, and a bit of gravy as well for good measure.
Would you prefer meat in the pie, or would you prefer a cream base?
Well, it's sort of like a chicken and mushroom pie we're talking here. It would better, I'd say, with a steak and ale or a steak and kidney.
Kidney? Where's the kidney coming from? Are we talking...
Cow.
Cow kidney? Interesting.
On that bombshell, let's take a look at some results. Jake Ham running out your winner here today with Thompson in 2nd. 9 seconds down, just no match for Ham whatsoever. Ross, last driver, has finished on the lead lap in 3rd and ran out your podium. That was Di Piero 1 lap down. Howard and Erwin 3 laps down each, with Mike Sorum, our only retiree. We lost him on lap 64. We completed 130 laps.
Interesting to see here too, that's 2 of the same podium sitters as last race. With Jimmy Howlett the only non-returner here.
It is, and wow, that just clearly the short oval's not being Howard's friend here today. We'll bring the drivers in very, very shortly. Who should we speak to first? I think realistically, I think it might be rude. Speak to our winner, Jake Howe, I think. Should we have a bit of a chat with him first off? There we go. Jake Ham now joins us in the commentary booth. Jake, congratulations. What can we say? An absolute dominant display from you. No more, no less.
Pew pew! I'll take the dub. Woo woo!
Now, my question is, how does it hurt beating Adam Thompson that hard, or is it just a cakewalk?
It felt fantastic. I gotta say, that first caution that came out, I think I was up like 7 or 8 seconds, and I was like, dang it! My goal was to lap everybody. Was my whole goal of this race. That's how confident I was coming into this, and it kind of foiled it. But it was a good run. It was a fun race. I love running here. I know how to set up the brake bias and have a good pit crew. I got my Buzz Lightyear crew in there, if you guys can see them. And then, I get some personal coaching by Dale Earnhardt Jr. too. So it's a great race to come to.
But
Now, you go ahead, Tim.
Oh, thank you, Jake. Very kind of you, Lee, for that. Well, I mean, come the stops. I mean, obviously, you didn't. The glass yellow, you didn't stop. Thompson
Yes.
did. He was on fresh rubber. I mean, were you a little bit concerned? I mean, he held on to the back of you for quite a considerable amount of laps, but I mean, any concern to you at all, or do you think, do you know what, I've got this in check?
I mean, I was fairly confident. I love, this is my favorite car to run in all of iRacing, and so my iRacing rating that I have, a majority of it is from running 87s, and so I know the car pretty well as far as like on fuel consumption, and so those last few cautions, I was able to clutch it and coast because of the downhill sections on this track. And so it allowed me just enough. And when I finished with 0.1. I did that burnout right there, ran out of gas. So just perfect timing, worked out. And as far as the tires, with the line that I run, I'm able to keep the temperatures a little bit lower in the tires. And so I'm able to run consistent time laps longer than others that run a different line.
Well, we did notice that the consistency definitely carried you to victory here today. One thing before we let you go, we were discussing during commentary, condiments on a ham sandwich. As the official ham sandwich aficionado, what's your go-to?
Definitely go-to has got to be, I'm a Miracle Whip type of guy. I am not a mayo. Whoever eats mayo, I feel sorry for you. So Miracle Whip. I go with a slice of Velveeta cheese. Every once in a while, I'll throw a little Colby Jack on there. And then you got to have a good ham. You got to, I mean, like me, right? I'm a good ham. You got to have a good slice of ham on there. And then sometimes a little glazed honey ham or smoked ham, spice up a little bit. And if you're living on Wild Edge, you go in there and you toast that bread.
Oh, that bombshell. That is our winner, Jake Cam, here today from North Wilkesboro. Well, should we have
Yeah, Miracle Whip isn't real. We're gonna bring someone else in here.
Yeah, I think yes. Isn't it like sweet? No, I'm thinking of something else, aren't I? I was thinking it's like marshmallow fluff, but it's not, is it?
Either way, we'll bring in someone who looks like they eat a lot of mayo. I think next is Adam Thompson.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on there. Let's have a chat to, series organizer and only good enough for second today, Adam Thompson.
Hello, Tim.
Hello, Adam. Well, I mean, strats seem to work out for you here today, up and down and around about a few times, but, come that last yellow, in second, you must have felt confident to be able to take it to Jake Am.
I did. I felt very confident after I spun him out for hitting me on lap 1, but that's neither here nor there. We squashed it, and Jake deserved to win that race. He was clearly the faster driver, but yeah, when it came to the strategy, when that yellow came out, I decided to come in, fill my, what are these things? My car, my boat, decided to fill up my boat and get it back out on track. And I knew Jake hadn't pitted yet, so I thought I would have had him on fuel, but clearly he did enough saving under the caution and everything to get it to the end. So congrats to him. He deserved the win. There was nothing I could do.
We saw you hit the wall I think it was the opening lap on the exit of 2. Did you suffer any damage to the car from that?
I don't think it wasn't anything that was mechanical or anything that was slowing me down, but I forgot to uncheck my fast repair when I came in, which to those of you who don't know what those are, we get 2 of them in this league. It immediately repairs your car because that's like real life. Yeah, I decided to come in and it did give me a fast repair. So I must have had some type of damage, but it wasn't anything to slow me down. Jake, I got a better start than he did on the start of the race, and Jake came in a little too hot, got into my left rear, and I had to chase it up the track and hit the wall. But, that really was the only thing that I had that whole race. And, it was a good race for me. I'm happy with the P2 here, considering my P2 from Talladega got taken away.
Yeah, I was going to ask as well, that wall, run to the wall, was that due to anyone else, or were you just trying to collect that $5 for yourself?
Oh, no, I'm blaming Jake Ham 100% on that. And he almost collected that $5 from you. If I wouldn't have chased it up the track, Jake Ham should have had that $5. But all in all, it was a really fun race. It really was a whole bunch of bumping and banging and all that stuff.
Well.
Oh, yeah. One more thing. I'm sorry, Tim. The battle with Bobby Ross there in the middle was a lot of fun. We were leaning on each other quite a bit. And just, it was a great race. At least for me. I know a lot of people thought it was boring. 130 laps around here. People weren't liking the track or the cars. But to the guys in the league, what I have to say to that is, it's my channel, right? Fucking practice. And that won't happen. And we can have better races.
And it's marked for mature audiences, so you will get away with it. Well, there we go. Adam Thompson, the man who,
hang on,
according to his wife, never comes second. There we go. Well, interesting point of view from him there.
1 second.
Another thing from Adam Thompson is that his favorite condiment on a ham sandwich is also mayo.
Really?
Adam, do you like mayo on your ham sandwich?
Hang on, I just want to give shout outs.
Before you shout out,
what
condiment do you prefer on a ham sandwich? Is it mayo?
Or Miracle Whip?
That is a resounding yes from Adam Thompson for the mayo. He left before he could.
Stop. Fernando, all the guys from Summit watching the race tonight, thank you guys so much for tuning in and giving us a few views. It helps the stream and helps the league. So thank you guys. Now you can kick me out, Tim.
Okay. He asked for it. He got it. Well, let's have a little chat to the guy who finished third here today. It is Bobby Ross. Well, Bobby. Couldn't make it 2 from 2, but I mean, third. You've got to be happy with that one tonight, haven't you? Surely.
Yeah. 2 podiums in a row. You can't go wrong with that. I guess that would make me the points leader, depending on how far back Jimmy Howard was at the end. But yeah,
it'll be close, but I think you will just have the edge.
Ooh, okay, all right. Yeah, no complaints by me.
No, I mean, we saw earlier on, you were really closing up, after the last caution, you're really closing up on Adam Thompson, but it just seemed to fall by the wayside a little bit. I mean, were you concerned with, where you seem to be like running out of tyres, just how much, Jerry T. Piero was like really, getting into the back of you and trying to get that low line to work against you?
It looked like he was catching up at one point, side by side with me, and I guess he cooked his tires. And I'll be honest, with these cars at this type of track, I'm terrible at tire management. I don't know if it has something to do with the brake bias, the steering ratio, but it just seems like I can never get it right with regards to making the tires last over 25 laps.
Well,
to give you a little bit of a hint, we had Jake Ham was talking a lot about brake bias and setting that up for this track. So that might be a good hint for the next short one.
And his lines as well, It's clearly it's what made the difference. And that's why he had such exceptional pace today. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, you were close with Jake. A couple of the restarts. Were you not tempted to follow the same sort of line? We said to see, yourself and pretty much everyone else following a very similar line. Were you not tempted to try and switch things up and think, well, do you know what? That's working for him. Let's try and give it a go. Or was it knowing how unpredictable these cars can be? Did you not want to really risk trying something new in racing conditions?
I think the first run before the first caution came out, I was kind of following his line. and then I felt like it seemed like no matter what I did after that, it just felt like I was slowing down, even though I was trying to brake earlier. So, but yeah, podium.
Can't ask any better than that, realistically. The number 33 finishing in third.
Before we
Go on, Jake.
before we say goodbye to Bobby, our third place finisher, the number 33. Just wanted to say, ask one if you had any shout outs, and two, if Adam Thompson was to eat a ham sandwich, would he dump half a tub of mayo on there as his one condiment? The answer is yes, and those are your questions.
I would say yes with that question. And of course, I want to give a shout out to my family today for watching here in this race, but also being in person, watching me race at it's a relatively new go-kart track here in West Palm Beach. I ended up winning the race here today, so double podium, both virtual and in real life.
Congratulations. I was going to ask you how you got on, but knowing when I've asked that exact question with those exact words in this league before, it's been met with, I don't understand what you're talking about. So I'm glad you already got in there first with that one, Bobby, and congratulations. And well, good luck for a couple of weeks' time, isn't it? As we've got a little bit of a gap now in proceedings.
Just a bit.
We have, yes. Just a bit. But well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Bobby Ross, everyone. Well, Jake. Well, I mean, an eventful race, nonetheless.
Absolutely. I mean, at times it reminded me a little bit of today's race in Mexico earlier. For all you Formula One fans, we had, I think, a clear and decisive win from one driver, and a few mix-ups in the field to bring out some cautions there.
Yes, definitely mixed up a little bit, and well, either way, Jake Cam, different gravy tonight, completely a league of his own.
No, absolutely. And where are we off to next week before we close out?
Yes, excellent question. I was just digging into that one, and well, we are nowhere next week because we've got a week's break before we head to the Milwaukee Mile in 2 weeks' time when XSLR returns here on Slow Motion Broadcasting for what will be round 3 of the season, also round 3 of the oval section. Only more round after that being for Daytona before we head into a 2-week break because some people like to give thanks to people apparently because why not have 2 Christmases effectively?
No, absolutely. And one thing to be thankful for is a Milwaukee Mile coming up. You gotta make sure to bring out your cheese or your cheese hats for that one.
Kevin Irwin will be there in force, the official cheese aficionado of XSLR. But well, that's all we've got time for here today. I've been Tim Cox with Jake Luther. As we said today, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. We head to the Milwaukee Mile. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you then. Goodbye.